Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to the last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And today's sermon is entitled The Unleavened Ultimatum. We got a lot of beeping going on around here. Yeah, it was going straight in the mic, wasn't it? But praise Yahweh that he has given us some form of understanding and a deeper form of understanding, so that we know that removing leaven is not just this thing about removing some articles out of our cabinets. It's a little deeper in that. We can easily go through those things, because we can always see the ingredients. We can look at the list of ingredients, remove those things. But sometimes we have to meditate on some of the ingredients of things that's in our heart. And when you go through the situation of looking at ingredients, you find something that after a while, these places change their ingredients. So what was previously clean 2 years ago is not that way 2 years later. So then you find that even reading ingredients gets a little tricky, because then they start making up things. So we read in the book and it says this thing is unclean, or that thing is unclean, or this thing has leaven and this thing doesn't have leaven. So then they make up their own thing that you now have to research to figure out, is it clean or unclean? Does it have leaven or is it without leaven? Well, then you deal with our hearts. There are certain things that may have been okay. And then once we get to a certain point, that thing has leaven in it because of how we did it and why we did it. Are we able to re-examine those things? See? So that basically the ingredient list changes. And are you able to get a little bit deeper when that happens? Tonight's sermon is entitled The Unleavened Ultimatum. Now, when we examine what is written, we find that there are variation in levels of power and responsibility when it comes to the priesthood. Israel was prophesied to become a nation and kingdom of priests, as the entire world will have to be taught of the Father's ways. These levels will come more into effect as the time comes that each individual sits in the prophesied position of Yahweh's choosing. Sometimes we find that Yahweh requires a higher level of obedience even before he reveals that that individual was ordained for a higher purpose. We're going to begin tonight's sermon in Genesis chapter 22. Genesis chapter 22, and we're going to read verses 1 through 18.
And it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now your son, your only son Esaac, whom you loved, and get you into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell you of.
Now, out of nowhere, he just comes at him. And then he knows how much he loves this child, because he says, Take now your son, your only son. We know he got another son. But Yahweh said, no. The one you put all your love in. The gift of your old age. No. That one that you didn't think was possible. Come and offer that. Understand, if it don't cost you nothing, it's not a worthy sacrifice anyway. So if it doesn't mean anything to you and you offer it up to him, guess what? It don't mean nothing to him either. Didn't mean nothing to him, because it didn't mean nothing to you. This is why Yahweh said, I cannot offer that to my Elohim, that which costs me nothing. No. I don't want that one. No, I want that one. The one that I promised, I did all the promising with. The one that you look, bring me that one. Go ahead.
And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Esaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went on to the place of which Elohim had told him of.
The first part of obedience is, and Abraham rose up early in the morning. See, when we don't want to do something, our whole body language shows that we don't want to do it. We move like we don't want to do it. We talk like we don't want to do it. Everything about our movement says, I don't want to do this. He rose up early in the morning. He don't want to do it. But you can't tell. Go ahead.
Then on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide you here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you.
So he got to work just to get to the place to do something that he don't want to do. Go ahead.
And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Esaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Esaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together.
Right. Elohim will provide. I don't know how. I don't know how he's going to do this, but he's going to provide. I know he made these promises, so I know you coming back with me. I don't know how he going to do it. Okay? He didn't give me that kind of information. That's above my pay grade. But I believe he going to do it. See, you operate a certain way when you believe. That's why it says, let a man ask, but let that man ask nothing wavering. Because if he waver, he ain't getting nothing from me. I can tell how you ask, you don't believe. That's why you don't get. Because you don't believe you can have. Go ahead.
And they came to the place which Elohim had told them of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Esaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood.
Look at how much work he has to do for this thing. He's got to travel 3 days. Then he got to build an altar. All of this to do something that he don't want to do. Go ahead.
And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Yahweh called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do you anything unto him. For now I know that you feareth Elohim, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me.
Now I know. Now, understanding that Abraham is the building block of the Holy Family of Israel. This is rock number 1. Yahweh requires something heavier from him. He ain't really told him who he is. But yet the requirement is already there. He says, now I know. See, no matter what happened, I know you gonna make sure that your seed after you is gonna follow in the instructions that I will give. He ain't even gave all the instructions yet. Go ahead.
You know, brother, it's interesting when you're talking to people about circumstance and situation that you see them going through, but they're trying to tell you this, and you sitting there like, yeah, I know it's all excuses because you don't know my walk.
Right.
You don't know what other individuals have done for this walk. They stand there listening to you, and we know like, okay, we see it's all excuses.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you see the same thing over and over again and again. See, everybody believes that their situation is so unique. You ain't never seen nothing like this. You ain't never seen nothing like this. I'm trying to tell you. I know you've been in the word, you know what I'm saying, 20 years, you know what I'm saying, but you ain't never seen nothing like this. I got the most unique case ever on the face of this earth. Right. Keep believing that. Go ahead,
Verse 13. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went out and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son.
Mm-hmm. And this is something that you have to read to all those people who like to blow the kadu, the long horn, and we like to watch other people, you know. And this is what people do for pomp and circumstance. They got a so-called shofar this long. Man, that didn't come on no ram. This is deeper than, well, you know, this horn is easier to blow. See, here we go. Here we go. There we go. We want to get, well, this one is easier. And, you know, people look at me, you know, when I blow the wrong one. You know, it sounds, it got a deeper sound to it. It ought to sound deep, but since you calling the adversary the devil. Yahweh already showed you what horn to use. What do you think he was doing? The ram caught in the thicket. Esaac is in representation of this ram is Joshua. How can you blow anything else? But see, folk do what they want to do. Go ahead.
And Abraham called the name of that place Yahweh Yireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of Yahweh it shall be seen. And the angel of Yahweh called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, says Yahweh, for because you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your only son, that in blessing I will bless you, and in multiplying I'll multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies.
So it's kind of funny how Yahweh works. You know, you hear how people deal with things on Sunday morning about, you know, tithing, you know, you give to God first and he'll give. But when you take, you know, them and they hustle out, you understand something. To deal with Yahweh, you're going to have to move first. Now, they saying what they saying for hustle, but it's got some validity to it. He had to move. Now I know. Because you've not withheld your only son. Now, because you haven't withheld that one, I'm going to give you so many sons, you ain't going to be able to count them. But imagine if you just try to do everything you going to do to hold on to that one. You're not going to get the others, and you're going to lose that one too. Go ahead.
And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice.
Because you have obeyed my voice. Now, let's go in. I want to back up. Let's go to Genesis 18. And I want you to read verses 17 through 19.
And Yahweh said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do?
Now, understand, this is before the tempting. Go ahead.
Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation. And all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahweh, to do justice and judgment, that Yahweh may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him.
For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him. You can say what you got to say. He going to make sure them kids do what they supposed to do. And we find out now, that's not the case with all Israel. Because we use every situation and circumstance as an excuse. Why we can't do this? Why we can't do that? He said, no. I know him. So, understand, he said he knew him before he tempted him. The know him part come first. So he said, it came time that he tempted him. Oh yeah, he even the pass it with fine color. Y'all sit back and watch this. No, this is my boy. Watch my boy. Watch this. He about to do this thing. I'm about to show all y'all. I got me some folk down there now. Right. He already knew this test wasn't gonna burn him. He already said in 18, I know him. He gonna command his church. I don't care nothing about that what y'all talking. I know what he gonna do. So when this temptation come, he ain't worried. It bothered me one time when my elder, and it happened to me and Leah. She had like 10 sisters come at her. They put me in a circle of 10 deacons. And all of them coming at me. And my elder allowed both of them. And I could not figure out, why would you allow them to do this to me? And I felt like it was so unfair. But elder knew something about us that we didn't know about her. So it was 10 of them against you. That was fair. I should have let 2 more come. I didn't know. See, sometimes, Yahweh got to let you get jumped on so you can get some confidence in yourself. So you sitting there like, oh man, I'm outnumbered, man. Look at him, man. It's 10 of them. Watch my boy. Watch him. Go ahead, boy. Right. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 1. He's like, that's all they got, 10? 1 Samuel chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 1 through 12.
Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim, of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephratite. And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto Yahweh of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of Yahweh, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters portions.
Now, it said the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of Yahweh. So they have a certain level of authority. With authority also comes responsibility. Go ahead.
But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but Yahweh had shut up her womb. And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because Yahweh had shut up her womb.
Now, Yahweh does things according to his timing. You know? He does things and you don't understand why he operates the way he operates. She is confused as to why all this time do I not have a child. Go ahead.
And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of Yahweh, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat.
And y'all know how, you know, if nobody else, women know how petty they can be at times. I got these children, you ain't got nothing. Look at that. And you know, I learned they can provoke without saying nothing. They ain't got to do nothing but, That's how, wasn't even no word. It done got started just that quick. See, she playing these games. Ain't nobody playing. Ain't nobody even playing. See, ain't nobody even started nothing with her. Ain't nobody saying nothing. Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting when it says, therefore she wept and did not eat. She's forcing her to fast.
Yes.
Fasting and praying.
Right. But see, this is how, what we use as an excuse, Yahweh is using as a driving force to bless you. But you too busy whining. Go ahead.
Then said Elkanah her husband to her, Hannah, why weepeth thou? And why eateth you not? And why is your heart grieved? Am not I better to you than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of Yahweh. And she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto Yahweh, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Yahweh of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your handmaid, and remember me, and not forget your handmaid, but will give unto your handmaid a man-child, then I'll give him unto Yahweh all the days of his life.
Wait. I have not. But if you give me, I'll give it back. I want so bad that if you give it to me, I'll give the whole thing right back to you. I just need to know that I have. Go ahead.
And there shall no razor come up in his head. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before Yahweh, that Eli marked her mouth.
So, you know, just like you were saying, she was forced to basically fast, right? Mm-hmm. Now, she's fasting during a feast. Mm-hmm. If they're going up to make an appearance, we're talking about a feast. You know how hard it is to fast during a feast? We have all this wonderful food for a feast. Before some people get through eating, some other folk are already back in line. Well, you all got seconds? Mm-hmm. You got seconds? Is there any more of that lamb? Is there any more of that lamb? What about the sauce? We got some sauce? Can you just drizzle it on there? Just pour that right in there. Matter of fact, let the sauce fall on the macaroni. You know what I'm saying? Just let the sauce fall all the way down there. Now, everybody doing all that, and she fasting. See, when we fasting, we recognize certain things. Oh, we ain't going there nobody with no food. It ain't good to be fasting and you walking around somebody and they got one of them big brontosaurus turkey legs and looking at you. What you talking about? What's wrong? I'm fasting, bro, and that thing looked like a leg. So she was going through it. But that's setting the stage for some other things. Let's go to chapter 2, and I want you to start at verse 12.
You know, even as she's going through, we see some precise prayer going on, even to the vow that she puts on the child himself.
Yes. Yeah, I have decided ain't no razor going to come on his head. He's going to be a Nazarite. A certain amount of things. This is going to be how his life is going to be directed. Go ahead.
Are we going to 2 Samuel chapter 2?
Yep, chapter 2. So that means then, when we talk about the first fruits, Hannah has offered up her first fruit before she even get it. She has made a vow to offer up her first fruit before she get the fruit. Go ahead.
2 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 12. And Abner the son of Ner and the
Okay, wait. First Samuel.
All right. My fault there. Chapter 2 and verse 12. Now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial. They knew not Yahweh.
Now hold on, now they priests, but they don't know Yahweh. Problem. How you gonna be a priest Yahweh, but you don't know Yahweh? Go ahead.
And the priest's custom with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the priest's servant came while the flesh was in seething with a flesh hook of 3 teeth in his hand. And he struck it into the pan or kettle or cauldron or pot. All that the flesh hook brought up, the priest took for himself. So they did in Shiloh unto all the Israelites that came thither. Also before they burnt the fat, the priest's servant came and said to the man that sacrificed, Give flesh to roast for the priest, for he will not have sodden flesh of you, but raw. And if any man said unto him, Let them not fail to burn the fat presently, and then take as much as your soul desires, then he would answer him, No, but you should give it me now, and if not, I will take it by force. Wherefore the sin of the young man was very great before Yahweh, for man abhorred the offering of Yah.
So now, whatever it is they have going on in their heart has the people to hate the offering of Yahweh. Now that's a problem. Because apparently they wanted to do with it what they want to do with it. But if these men are bringing their offering, they're getting satisfaction in seeing the fat burn. They're getting satisfaction in seeing what happens with the offering that they are offering. After that, they said, hey, all I need to do, because the fire of Yahweh is supposed to consume a certain portion of it. I just need the fire, see the fire. You do what you want with it after that. Go ahead.
But Samuel ministered before Yahweh, being a child, girded with a linen ephod. Moreover, his mother made him a little coat and brought it to him from year to year.
Check this out. She wanted so bad that she has given this child, and she go and see the child when it's time to make appearances. Check that out. So she don't get to see this child all the time. Go ahead.
When she came up with her husband to offer the yearly sacrifice. And Eli blessed Elkanah and his wife and said, Yahweh give you seed of this woman for the loan which she lent unto Yah. And they went on to their own home. And Yahweh visited Hannah, so that she conceived and bare 3 sons and 2 daughters.
You see how Yahweh worked? See, she gave her first fruit, but it looked like it was going to be her only fruit. Now she's more fruitful than she could even have imagined. That wasn't part of her covenant. All she said, you give it to me and I'll give it back to you. All the rest was on Yahweh. See, all you have to have with Yahweh is the right intent. Yahweh didn't build a house. He had a desire to build a house. Yahweh took care of everything else. Go ahead.
And the child Samuel grew before Yah. Now Eli was very old, and heard all that his sons did unto all Israel, and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Now, so taking of the offering was one thing. Then they lay with the women. So they you know, they want to see somebody come up in a certain way. So it says, lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle, of the congregation. Now Eli know this. Correct?
And he said unto them, why do you such things? For I hear of your evil dealings by all this people.
So people are talking. Not only does Eli know about what his sons do, but other people know what his sons do. But at this point, ain't nothing going on but talking. Go ahead.
No, my sons, for it is no good report that I hear. You make Yahweh's people to transgress. If one man sin against another, the judge shall judge him. But if a man sin against Yahweh, who shall entreat for him? Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto the voice of their father, because Yahweh would slay them. And the child Samuel grew on, and was in favor both with Yahweh and also with men.
So they couldn't listen if they wanted to, because it says Yahweh would slay them. They had done it too long. So it doesn't matter at this point how or what happened. They weren't going to be able to repent. Go ahead.
And there came a man of Elohim unto Eli, and said unto him, thus says Yahweh, did I plainly appear unto the house of your father, when they were in Egypt in Pharaoh's house? And did I choose him out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to offer upon mine altar, to burn incense, to wear an ephod before me? And did I give unto the house of your father all the offerings made by fire of the children of Israel?
Right, that was their due. You're going to get the offerings anyway. You're a priest. Why would your sons be taking it before, you know, before it's cooked in the fire? Go ahead.
Wherefore kick you at my sacrifice and at mine offering, which I have commanded in my habitation, and honoreth your sons above me, to make yourselves fat with the chiefest of all the offerings of Israel, my people.
Now, I need you to really think about something. Now, it mentioned the first how they did the offering. The next thing about how they lay with the women at the door. You see the one Yahweh was more angry about though? Mm-hmm. You notice Yahweh didn't mention the stuff about the women. That thing concerning my offering. Oh, you about to get it. See, it's what there are levels to wrong. When you end up defiling the holy things of Yahweh, you're on a whole nother level. And see, what happens is our little personal things come up and we have our little indignation, and then we end up defiling something holy. And we're not thinking about what you've done. You're thinking about your own personal feelings. But now you done crossed the line. And you went way past your little personal thing, because now you in Yahweh's business. Oh yeah, was it wrong what they was doing with the women at the door? Yeah. But that thing that you did with my offering, and how you made my people feel about my offering because of how you dealt with it, how you dealt with the holy things, oh, we're going to have a problem. We're going to dance about this right here. Go ahead.
Wherefore Yahweh Elohim of Israel says, I said indeed that your house and the house of your father should walk before me forever. But now Yahweh says, be it far from me.
I repented. I take back what I said. Go ahead.
For them that honor me, I will honor, and they that despise me shall be lightly esteemed.
Now, we don't think we're despising him. We just caught up in our own little feelings of what it is we want to do. Go ahead.
Behold, the days come, that I will cut off your arm and the arm of your father's house, that there shall not be an old man in your house.
So you place your sons above me. You ain't gonna have no sons when I'm when I'm done. Go ahead.
And you shall see an enemy in my habitation, in all the wealth which Elohim shall give Israel, and there shall not be an old man in your house forever. And the man of yours, whom I shall not cut off from mine altar, shall be to consume your eyes, and to grieve your heart, and all the increase of your house shall die in the flower of their age. And this shall be a sign unto you, that shall come upon your two sons, on Hophni and Phinehas, In one day they shall die, both of them.
And one day. So, here is also a lesson for those people who don't like to discipline their kids. I hope you see the end result. You might well drive them to the lake of fire and kick them out the car. Because that's what you're doing. You think you're going to love somebody so much that they just going to know right from wrong. Not going to happen. You have to discipline to teach the difference between right and wrong. Go ahead.
And I will raise me up a faithful priest that shall do according to that which is in mine heart and in my mind. And I'll build him a sure house, and he shall walk before mine anointed forever. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left in your house shall come and crouch to him for a piece of silver and a morsel of bread.
Now you have to listen to the punishment and remember what Yahweh was angry about. You snatched the offering. You snatched it before they got to cook it. Now your family gonna beg for bread. I'm gonna kill off all the males, and the rest of them gonna beg for bread. Go ahead.
And shall say, put me, I pray you, into one of the priest's offices, that I may eat a piece of bread.
That I may eat a piece of bread. So now generations have to deal with what one generation did. And him as being the man, did you notice something though? It said that the sons were priests. You notice Yahweh didn't go and talk to them at all? He had no conversation with them. Everything about their judgment came to their daddy. Now these grown men. Now it is written that the priest's lips must disperse the law. We find that Eli had law, but not when it came to his boys. We find that some of us love Yahweh to a certain degree. The landscape somehow changes when it gets to our personal possessions. Let's go to Luke chapter 14. So this is that hidden leaven. And we can't even really say that it's hidden. Eli said, I hear of all your dealings. I know it's leaven. I know it's there. But I just don't want to deal with it. Luke chapter 14, and we're going to read verses 25 through 33.
And there went great multitudes with him. And he turned and said unto them, If any man come to me, and hate not his father and mother, and wife and children, and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple.
So wait a minute. There are levels to leadership. Everybody think they want to lead. Okay? But there are levels to leadership. He said, you take this job, everything else get put on the back. So if you can't do that, you don't need to step up to this job right here. You may need to work over there. See, everybody think they want to do certain things until they realize what the responsibility level is on that. And the more of these things you got to deny, sometimes the more problems we have. Well, I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of that. Well, I can't go over there because I need to go over here. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Go ahead.
And whosoever does not bear his burdens and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sets not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Least happily, after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish. Or what king, going to make war against another king, sits not down first, and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that comes against him with 20,000? Or else, while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage, and desires conditions of peace. So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he has, he cannot be my disciple.
You cannot be his disciple putting things above him. He has already set forth this. So we have to figure out, all right, what level do we want to be at? Because this then shows up as leaven. And y'all sure see it in there. How'd that get in there? That's going to cause you a problem. You're not going to be able to do the things that you're supposed to do because that leaven in there. Let's go to Exodus chapter 22. Exodus chapter 22, and let's start that at verse 1.
If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, for he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft.
All right, so what Yahweh is setting forth is order. You know, when you take something from one of the brothers or sisters, you have to restore that. That's what restitution is. See, when something happened to us here, you know, don't let somebody hit our car. We can't wait to go to court. Excuse me, y'all need to pay me for my car. You gonna pay for that? I need to get that. And you know what? My leg feel funny. I need to go ahead and get my check. What's it? You got to pay restitution for the damage that was caused. Well, they got it from Yahweh's law. So you have to consider the restitution that we're supposed to be paying for the damage that we've caused. Go ahead.
If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double.
Restore double, all right.
If a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his own beast, and shall feed in another man's field, of the best of his own field and of the best of his own vineyard shall he make restitution.
Of the best. Go ahead.
If fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn or the standing corn or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall surely make restitution.
He that set forth the fire have to make restitution. You caused this, it is your job to fix it. So Yahweh then understands who the responsible party is. Understand when we deal with the situation with King Dawid, Uriah was put in a certain place in the battle so that he would die. You didn't hear Yahweh mention any of those men though, did you? No, he said, no. You killed him. See, you was one that set it up. No, you did it. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to your general. I don't want to talk to your sergeant. I don't want to talk to none of them. You gave the order. Go ahead.
If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double.
All right, so he can't just give back what he took. He's got to give back more than what he took. Go ahead.
If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges, to see whether he have put his hand onto his neighbor's goods. For all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any matter of lost thing, which another challenges to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor.
For all manner of trespass. Now, these are all things. What happened if you've robbed your brother of his good name because some things that came out of your mouth? How you give that back double? Keep reading.
If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass or an ox or a sheep or any beast to keep, and it die or be hurt or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of Yahweh be between them both, that he has not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. If it be torn in pieces, then let him bring it for witness, and he shall not make good that which was torn. And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be an hired thing, it came for his hire. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Right. Yahweh has a certain order so that there's not whoredom in his kingdom. You enticed her, that we call that spitting game. No? Yeah, man, I spit that game, the shouter, she came on in. Yahweh said, now she can't go on out. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations. Congratulations. Do it then, game. Go ahead.
If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay him money according to the dowry of virgins. You shall not suffer a witch to live. Whosoever lieth with a beast shall surely be put to death. He that sacrifices unto any god, save unto Yahweh only, he shall be utterly destroyed. You shall neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
It is amazing to me how many so-called Old Testament only people don't see this. If you don't read nothing but the Old Testament, how is it you didn't see we shall not vex a stranger? I mean, you weren't reading but half of the book. So how did you miss this? And this is the beginning. Go ahead.
You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. And my anger shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword.
I will kill you because of what you did to that fatherless child. Now we have to examine something. Is it so much that we did it, or you let it be done? It's still on you. Go ahead.
And your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. If you lend money to any of my people that is poor by you, you shall not be to him as interest, neither shall you lay upon him interest. If you at all take your neighbor's raiment to pledge, you shall deliver it unto him by that the sun goes down. For that is his covering only. It is his raiment for his skin. Wherein shall he sleep? And it shall come to pass, when he cries unto me, that I will hear it, for I am gracious. You shall not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of your people. You shall not delay to offer the first of your ripe fruits, and of your liquors. The firstborn of your sons shall you give unto me.
Isn't that what Hannah gave? The firstborn of her son. See, that was her and Elkanah's first fruit. Now, Elkanah had first fruit with Peninnah already, but this was his first fruit with Hannah. She already gave it up. And look at how powerful that was. He knows she made a vow. He knew what it meant to her. He left it alone. Go ahead.
Likewise shall you do with your oxen and with your sheep. 7 days it shall be with his dam, and on the 8th day you shall give it me. And you shall be holy men unto me. Neither shall you eat any flesh that is torn of beast in the field. You shall cast it to the dogs.
All right, you shall be holy men unto me, meaning that there is a way that you're supposed to operate. And if you're not operating in that, then it is leaven. You are showing up with leaven to an unleavened feast. And swear you done removed all the leaven. It's stuck in your pockets. It's in your bag. You open your Bible and the leaven just fall out on the table. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19. That's why the book says, sporting themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you. What do you think he's talking about? They still think they right. Sporting themselves with their own deceivings. They think Yahweh see them. What he said? You thought that I was altogether one such as yourself. Leviticus chapter 19. Let's read verses 1 through 4.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, You shall be holy, for I Yahweh your Elohim am holy. You shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Shabbats. I am Yahweh your El.
Now, it is amazing the levels of how Yahweh put things in here. You shall fear every man his mother and his father. Keep going.
Turn you not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods. I am Yahweh your El.
I jump to verse 9.
And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not wholly reap the corners of your field, neither shall you gather the gleanings of your harvest. And you shall not glean your vineyard, neither shall you gather every grape out of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and stranger. I am Yahweh your Elohim.
Right, so everything that is given to you is not actually yours. Go ahead.
You shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another.
Right, so all manner of deception is sin. See, a lot of times what we do is, we can't find it per se in the law. See, I didn't find, deceiving my neighbor out of his goods. I looked in the commandments. I didn't see that. All manner of deception is sin. Go ahead.
And you shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shall you profane the name of your El. I am Yahweh. You shall not defraud your neighbor, neither rob him.
Right. Anytime you're telling a lie, you're defrauding. And according to what's written, the punishment of a lie is whatever you intended to happen with that lie. So if you intended to smear a man's name, guess what's going to happen to you? If you intended to rob somebody with that lie, guess what your judgment is? If you intended on somebody going to prison or dying with that lie, guess what your judgment is? Lying is the only judgment that changes like that. All other stuff, you can read it, boom, this is what this is. Not lying. Lying, the judgment for it changes based on your intention of the lie. Go ahead.
The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with you all night until the morning. You shall not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear your Elohim. I am Yahweh. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. You shall not respect the persons of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shall you judge your father.
Your neighbor,
pardon me. You shall not go up and down as a talebearer among your people, neither shall you stand against the blood of your neighbor. I am Yahweh.
You shall not go up and down as a talebearer among your people. Now, this has levels. So there's one thing, a talebearer is telling situations that another person would not even normally know. Now, add a lie to that, and you're a tall talebearer. A talebearer already has problems. But a tall talebearer got some serious problems. Go ahead.
You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall in any wise rebuke your neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
Now, this is the uncomfortable part that we don't like to do. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall in any wise rebuke your neighbor. What that mean? I got to tell you what you done. It is an uncomfortable situation. But you know what? If I let it stay in here, then eventually it's going to end up being nothing but hatred, and I don't give you the opportunity to repent. So that means, even though it's uncomfortable for me, I'm going to go ahead and deal with this uncomfortable thing. Now, don't mean the person going to accept it. Don't mean they going to hear you. But you know what you do? You end up clearing yourself in this equation. Go ahead.
You shall not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahweh.
All right, jump to verse 26.
You shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall you use enchantment nor observe times. You shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shall you mar the corners of your beard. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. Do not prostitute your daughter, to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom, and the land become full of wickedness.
Right. When you put your daughter on those long draws that they call tights, and then let them walk out in the mall, you might well go on and put a price tag on. Just go and put a number. Just put $24.99 on it. And just go ahead. Go ahead.
You shall keep my Shabbats and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahweh. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards, to be defiled by them. I am Yahweh your El. You shall rise up before the hoary head, and honor the face of the old man, and fear your Elohim. I am Yahweh.
Right, the hoary head is a gray-headed man. Go ahead.
And if a stranger sojourn with you in your land, you shall not vex him. But the stranger that dwells with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and you shall love him as yourself. For you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your Elohim.
And if you notice, for the most part, any ethnic group can come in our neighborhood and live. Now, you go and move to the other side of town and see how they treat you when you go in there. See, certain things we done picked up from other people. It was always a situation where anybody could come and live in our neighborhood. We didn't go jump on people who wasn't a same ethnic group as us in our neighborhood. We have that in us. But when we start picking up what other people do, then we start partaking. Go ahead.
You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, or in measure. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall you have. I am Yahweh your Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them. I am Yahweh.
All right, so now let's go to Matthew chapter 10. Because although Yahweh says he has some ordinances that we have to deal with, we have to see the spiritual side of a few of those things. Matthew chapter 10, and let's start at verse 32. I want to read verses 32 through 39.
Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Now, why would he do that? Doctrine. See, the very thing that we trying to seek peace in, you ain't gonna have peace in. Why? Because they have a different doctrine. But we keep trying to seek peace with somebody who has a different doctrine. He ain't coming in there trying to make your family fight. What he's giving you is a true doctrine, the true unleavened bread. And those people who have that leavened bread, they coming against you. But so we can have peace with them, now we're going to start adding a little leaven to our bread. You know, so we can get along. So we can have peace. You got to know at certain times you ain't going to have peace. Now, it said in the beginning, honor your father and your mother. Now, Yahshua takes this on a whole nother level. I can honor you, but I ain't going to worship your God. I can honor you, but you ain't going to run my house. I can honor you, but you're not going to tell my kids how they supposed to act. This is my house. Go ahead.
And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me.
You see that? He said honor them, but you better know where the honor level stop at. There's a fine line between honoring and worshiping. He said, wait, the only entity to get to worship is me. You got your mama sitting in the worship seat. She's supposed to be sitting in the honor seat. That's over there. Honor seat down there. I'm the only one sitting in this seat. Nobody sits in Yahweh's chair. See? That's Big Daddy chair. Don't nobody sit in Big Daddy chair. Who you got sitting in Big Daddy chair? See? That's the stuff that we put over him. Some of us got kids sitting in that chair. Some of us done put the job in the chair. Some of them got they spouse in the chair. Who get to sit in Yahweh's chair? It says whoever touched the seat of Yahweh must be thrust through with a dart. He's got to die immediately. So what then are you doing to somebody when you let them sit in his seat? You might well go ahead and put a hit out on them. You the one getting them killed, and you think you saving them. Go ahead.
And he that loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
Uh-huh.
And he that takes not his burden and follows after me is not worthy of me.
He that loves son or daughter more than me. Didn't he just prove that with Abraham? I gave you something now. I want to see if you strong enough to offer it up. Now, what if he'd have decided, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to save my child. Right? You were going to find your life, but lose your soul. Go ahead.
Yeah, verse 38, and he that takes not his burdens and follows after me is not worthy of me.
Uh-huh.
Man, y'all don't know what I'm going through. Oh, we know you ain't following after him.
Right.
Because whatever you going through has got you off the track.
Right.
He that finds his life shall lose it. And he that loses his life for my sake shall find it.
Right. But we trying our best not to lose anything. And in trying our best not to lose anything, we end up losing everything. Now, I want to, brother, read that from, I want to read one verse out of Matthew 19. You ain't got to go there. I want you to read it.
And everyone that has forsaken houses,
Uh-huh.
or brethren,
Uh-huh.
or sisters,
Uh-huh.
or father,
Uh-huh.
or mother,
Uh-huh.
or wife,
Uh-huh.
or children,
Uh-huh.
or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life.
Right. And we don't understand how serious this thing is. We try not to lose. And he said, you know, it's that loss that's going to cause you to gain. Let's go to Matthew chapter 12, and I want to read verses 46 through 50. So there's certain things, once you get to a certain level, the unleavened requirement is not a requirement anymore. It's an ultimatum. No, you ain't no toddler no more. See, we're not playing these toddler games no more. See, we already done learned how to break the cracker on the line. You've been potty trained. Now, there's certain things he requires of you. We can't be walking around like we in year one of the word. See, this is how we want to be grown and we want to be kids at the same time. Ain't nothing worse than some old young dude. You see them dudes, man, with gray hair, with cornrows and his pants hanging down? Look at this old fool here. You 50, 60 years old with your pants sagging. Look at this old young fool. Bad enough I got to look at the young boys' drawers. But I got to look at these old dusty things here. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, Behold, your mother and your brethren stand without, desiring to speak with you. But he answered and said unto him that told him, Who is my mother, and who are my brethren?
Right. Say that to somebody, and they say, oh my God, you're in a cult. Now these are New Testament believers. But say to them, who is my mother and who is my brother? They say, you done got off into something. Yeah, my book. The same thing that you should get off into. That's why you make all these concessions and put everything over him and think he approves of your dealings. We're going to put kids, grandkids, all of these things over him. And you think that please him? Yeah, I done got off into something. My book. Can you read?
And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciple and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven.
Here go my mother and my brother. You don't see him? You don't see my mother and my brother in here? You don't see my mother and my brother in here? They right here before me. You don't see them? Go ahead.
For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
Right. In other words, I don't know who them people is. I'm going to be about my Father's business. When they came looking for him when he was young, they said, you gave us a scare. We thought you were right behind us. Why y'all tripping? Didn't y'all know that I was going to be about my Father's business? Didn't y'all know that? Didn't you know that when I was 12 that I was going to be about my Father's business? Right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 9. I want you to read one verse. Verse 9.
And as Yahshua passed forth from thence, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the receipt of custom. And he says unto him, Follow me. And he arose and followed him.
Follow me. That's it. Follow me. Wasn't no whole bunch of when it's in somebody's heart to hear the word, you ain't got to say a whole lot of words. Now, if it's anybody who should have needed more words, is Matthew the publican. This is the most hated job in town. He's a tax collector. Nobody like him. He said one sentence, follow me. And he got up. How much convincing does Yahweh have to do for us? He got to see. This is my problem with all them people that say, God talked to me last night, and then God said such and such. Oh, he had to come personally convince you. He had to come personally and talk to you. Yeshua says, "Follow me." Okay. Now let's back up to go to Matthew chapter 8, and I want you to start at verse 18.
Now when Yahshua saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart onto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow you whithersoever you goeth.
Now, this is what everybody say when the going look good. Everybody want to be on the team that's winning. But when that team start facing adversity, you notice that they start putting on another jersey. It be halftime. They putting on another jersey. What you doing?
I thought I wanted to be a part of this team, but then this game looked tough. I don't know if y'all gonna make it.
Wait a minute. It was us when the game started. And then it's halftime, you say y'all. Yeah. The time I went to go to get some Gatorade, I went over to the other locker room and I talked to the other coaches and they willing to let me on their team. Okay. All right. I thought that was a long Gatorade break. I didn't know you went on the other side of the field though. I totally missed that. See, I was in this game, so I didn't notice you slip out. I didn't even notice. They gave you the right size jersey and everything too. You was over there getting sized up, huh? Okay. All right, go ahead.
And Yahshua says unto him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has not where to lay his head. And another of his disciples said unto him, Adonai, suffer me first to go and bury my father.
Uh-huh.
But Yahshua said unto him, Follow me, and let the dead bury the dead.
Wait a minute now. So he says, let the dead bury their dead. You come follow me. Drop all of that and come follow me. We got some things that we carrying that we don't want to let go. That's why it's levels to who gets to follow him. Because we got too much baggage. Now, let's go to Leviticus chapter 10. Because, this seemed kind of hard for Yahshua to just, come right out there and just, let the dead bury their dead. I mean, come on now, you talking about my daddy. I mean, that's how, come on now. Come on, if you the son of God, then you got a daddy. Leviticus chapter 10, let's read verses 1 through 7.
And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before Yahweh, which he commanded them not.
So they made a move, offered some things that should not have been done. Go ahead.
And there went out fire from Yahweh, and devoured them, and they died before Yahweh.
Uh-huh.
Then Moshe said unto Aaron, This is it which Yahweh spake, saying, I will be sanctified in them that come near me, and before all the people I'll be glorified. And Aaron held his peace.
Now these his sons now that Yahweh has consumed in the fire. Go ahead.
And Moshe called Mishael and Elzaphan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said unto them, Come near, carry your brethren from before the sanctuary out of the camp.
Now listen. And Moshe called Mishael and Elzaphan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle, all right, of Aaron. Not Aaron. Go ahead.
So they went near and carried them in their coats out of the camp, as Moshe had said. And Moshe said unto Aaron, and unto Eleazar, and unto Ithamar, his sons,
Now this they brothers now. Go ahead.
Uncover not your heads,
Uncover not your head.
neither rend your clothes,
Uh-huh.
lest you die, and lest wrath come upon all the people, but let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burning which Yahweh has kindled.
And so, in other words, Yahweh and Yahshua agree. Let the dead bury their dead. You better not uncover your head. Matter of fact, you don't even get to carry them out. Somebody else got to come carry them out. Oh, he's got a whole nother level for them. You don't even get to carry them out. Go ahead.
And you shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, lest you die, for the anointing oil of Yahweh is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moshe.
Right. So it may seem harsh what Yahshua said, but Yahshua said the same thing Yahweh said. Now you got the anointing oil upon you. You're not finna go and mourn with them. Yeah, I know your son just, got enveloped in spontaneous combustion. I know. 2 of them, matter of fact. Now stand here and keep your face straight. Right. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 21.
It's interesting because we saw that same situation with Dawid. The way he reacted, my man said, "What you'd have preferred all our sons to have died, right?"
Exactly. He said, man, be careful how you ask. Oh, Absalom, my son. Oh, my son. Oh, my son. They had to come tell him, hey, bro, come here, man. Come here, man. The way you in here mourning, bro, it don't look good. Because you lost your kid. Now, it would have been better if all us had died. He said, it's even a level to your mourning. No, man, you ain't mourning right. But see, only at our funerals do you see that. Well, we acting a fool. We trying to climb in the casket. Ah, take me with you. Ah! Man, don't nobody else do that. You ain't going to none other funeral. Well, the folk try to climb in the casket. Take me. Take me. I want to go. Don't leave me. Don't nobody else do that. Go ahead, brother.
Leviticus chapter 21 and verse 1. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Speak unto Aaron the priest, the sons of Aaron. Speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, There shall none be defiled for the dead among his people, but for his kin that is near unto him, that is, for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother.
Now, wasn't that Aaron's sons?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but he has an unleavened ultimatum on him. He's got a position. He has a post. We don't consider any of that. See, we get caught up in our little moment. Go ahead.
And for his sister a virgin that is near unto him, which has had no husband, for her may he be defiled.
Wait a minute now, wait a minute. He just went deep right there. For his sister a virgin. Go ahead.
But he shall not defile himself, being a chief man among his people, to profane himself.
Do we understand that Israel is even set to be a kingdom of priests? So do you understand even upon this that a lot of this is then going to come down to all of us, whether or not you have a position or not? Go ahead.
They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corn of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. They shall be holy unto their El, and not profane the name of their Elohim. For the offering of Yahweh, made by fire, and the bread of their Elohim, they do offer. Therefore, they shall be holy. They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto his Elohim.
Right. And we have to even be thankful of what Yahweh has allowed. Understand now, they didn't have no situation of baptism or any of that. When they said the woman had to be a virgin, that is what it is. Ain't no I made a mistake and it was slippery and I fell. And that, no sir, done deal. But see, we get to the other part of this book where Yahshua says, go and sin no more. So that means you had the opportunity to judge yourself, and then come judgment, that charge is able to come up off of you. They didn't have that opportunity then. So we need to learn how to be thankful for the time that we living in. Because how many of us would have been already cast out as whores? Come on, don't everybody want to look at somebody else. Don't look at nobody else.
Oh, you a whore?
No, you get that mirror and look at it. Hey, whore. Right. Did we finish that, brother?
You shall sanctify him, therefore, for he offers the bread of your El. He shall be holy unto you, for I, Yahweh, which sanctify you, am holy. And the daughter of any priest, if she profane herself by playing the whore, she profanes her father, she shall be burnt with fire.
That's some deep stuff, ain't it? That. But you see the dedication to people watching what was going on in their house. See? This is why even the daddies would train the sons. Hey, you see one of them boys come over here, I gotta go somewhere. Now, your sister's in the back. And this is my shotgun. And I'm gonna show you how you work this thing. Now see, you load it from the bottom. All right? That's all you need to do right there. Most people with sense, when they hear, they fall over everything getting out of here. Make sure don't nothing happen to your sisters while I'm gone. And when he said happen to, he really mean happen to. No, they was just talking. That's happening to. They ain't got no business talking. Get him on out of here. No. Then he's got to do some things he don't want to do in his house. Go ahead.
And he that is the high priest among his brethren, upon whose head the anointing oil was poured, and that is consecrated to put on the garments, shall not uncover his head, nor rend his clothes. Neither shall he go into any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or for his mother.
For his father or for his mother. Yahshua ain't make up no law. Yahshua ain't made up nothing. He took the same unleavened requirement for the priests and put it right on those disciples who followed him. Why? Because he said, y'all now priests. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. First Corinthians chapter 11, and I want to start that at verse 23.
For I have received of the Adonai that which also I delivered unto you, that the Adonai Yahshua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it, and said, Take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup, when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do you as often as you drink it, in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Adonai's death till he comes. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Adonai unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Adonai. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eats and drinks unworthily eats and drinks damnation to himself, not discerning the Adonai's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged.
If we would judge ourselves. So now there is an opportunity to do things that they didn't have then. We have an opportunity to even remove some of those bad deeds if we judge ourselves correctly. Now you go back to the restitution. If we've taken something, then we have to restore it in the way in which it was taken. See, you can't do something foul publicly and then pull somebody aside and give them a private apology. No, you got to go fix that in the same arena that you did it in. Then you do it publicly. Well, then you're making it right. Got to be public as well. But you know what's funny? Most of the things that I've seen done that way was always the women. Now, how is it that the women can go and stand up before the congregation and admit they're wrong, but you see a brother gonna pull somebody, come behind the fourth tree? No, you know what? That ain't far enough. Come on back down. Come on a little bit. Now come behind the car that's broke down behind the fourth tree. Right. But on several occasions, sisters done stood up in front of the whole congregation, admit in their tears, admitted they wrong, they did this, they shouldn't have done it. Brother do wrong, the whole congregation sin. But he want to send out a private text, don't tell nobody. My bad, dog. What? No. You didn't make restitution. Right. Did you finish that, bro?
But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Adonai, that we should not be condemned with the world.
There you go. So you take that hardship, which is your judgment, to stand up and deal with that. Guess what? It gets crossed off the record. But you don't deal with it. Guess what happened? That's still on your charge. That's still on your charge. You're going to have to go to judgment for that. See, the thing that we think we're avoiding, oh no, you're setting yourself up for a much worse situation. Because if you think it's hard to stand before me, where do you get to stand before that white throne judgment? You think this hard? You think it's hard standing in front of this? Where do you got to stand in front of him? Because you're going to give an account for it. All you're doing is delaying when you give an account. But understand, with all delays, there's interest payments. Understand. You're going to have a hell of an interest payment when it's time to pay for it. Oh, a hell of a payment. So you ask yourself, how long am I going to delay this? Because the charge keep going up. You can keep paying $2, you know what I'm saying, on that Macy's card. After 20 years, you'll be a $22,000. You ain't getting that but 2 shirts and some socks. But But you kept paying $2 on it. You ain't never gonna pay it off like that. Now you got to inconvenience yourself. Do you want to pay it off or not? Okay. Did you finish that?
Yes, sir.
Let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 22. See, we have to remember how Yahweh deals with things. He told Dawid, you did this thing in secret. I'm going to do it before the sun. You slept with a man's wife and y'all had a nice little candlelight. Nice little evening. I'm going to make them sleep with your wives on the top of the hill in the sight of the sun. You talking about humiliation? Oh, okay, so you wouldn't, you couldn't judge yourself because you couldn't stop. That's all right, I got you. And once, and Yahweh didn't say how he was going to do it because he used one of his sons. Son and father can't go in on the same woman. So he got to still take care of all 10 of these other women. But he can never go in unto them. Nothing make a man more upset. There's absolutely nothing that makes a man more upset. A man will tell you, you know what, just take my pinky toe. But don't have me taken care of. And I can't what? Oh, Yahweh said, no, I got you. You did this in secret, I got you. And everybody gonna watch. Now check this out. Yahweh even go around his own law. He said this is a private moment when a man is with a woman. This ain't nothing that's supposed to be public. But you know what I'm gonna do today? You know what? You know what? Today, y'all get some popcorn. Everybody get some popcorn. We finna take care of this business here. Take care of this business here. Be sneaky again. It's gonna be a message to every last one of y'all that wanna be slick. That think you can get the darkest of night and go and do something. Yahweh wasn't just dealing with Dawid. He dealing with every last one. Because believe you me, there's some brothers sitting there saying, I ain't never going to do that right there. Believe that? I ain't never going to do that. Man, whatever he did, I ain't never doing that. I ain't never do that. Because this is absolutely humiliating. And you know as they watching it, they look at him. It's bad, dog. It's bad. But you learn. Yahweh ain't nothing to play with. He is not anything to play with. And the higher you up on the food chain, the more he requires of you. So are you in day 1 of the word? Are you in year 10? You think he gonna deal with you as a toddler? You've been walking around boasting that you've been in the word for 10 years? You think he finna deal with you? You think he finna go, that baby, Titi, yeah, that baby, yeah. You think he gonna deal with you like that? Oh no, you way past baby Titi's days. No, you getting dealt with. And rightfully so. Leviticus chapter 22, and let's read verses 10 through 16.
There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing. A sojourner of the priest or an hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing.
Now, what it says, let a man examine himself if he's worthy to eat of that Passover, right? Same thing we read here. Yeshua wasn't just making nothing up. Go ahead.
But if the priest buy any soul with his money, he shall eat of it. And he that is born in his house, they shall eat of his meat. If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger.
Now, I need y'all to pay attention to this, right? If the priest's daughter is married unto a stranger, go ahead.
She may not eat of an offering of the holy thing.
Now, pause. If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger, she may not eat of the offering of the holy things. Why? She now belongs to the seed of the stranger. Now, I need you to, we have a patriarchal system. The male has the seed. Whatever the male is, that's what the child is. She is married to a stranger. So her child becomes what he is. She's no longer eligible to eat of the holy things, because that is now a stranger eating of the holy things. Now, we got to come back around to this lie that we always hear. I'm Jewish through my mother. Wait a minute. She's no longer Jewish then, is she? That didn't come from the Torah. See, you got to learn how to call out a falsehood when you see it. Here it is right in the law. Once she marries somebody else, she can't eat of the holy things. So there's a separation that's been made. People will tell you, well, yeah, and you'll hear it all the time when you hear the ish talk. I'm Jewish through my mother. There's no such animal. But what that gave them to do, they did the same thing that they did in slavery. The man get to sleep around with everybody, and only the ones who will be Jewish or whatever that is the one that he is married to. But he get to spread them children all over the place. They've been playing that same game. That's what they did during slavery. They passed laws. This kid can't be white unless the mama is white. What did that do? Because the slave master was out all over, sleeping with everybody. So they have the same. Now, how is it that the Ish get the same concept as the slave master? Maybe because they was too. Right. Go ahead.
But if the priest's daughter be a widow or divorced and have no child, and is returned unto her father's house, as in her youth, she shall eat of her father's meat.
Now, if she returned unto the house, she's widowed or she's divorced. Now she his again. Now she can eat it. Go ahead.
You know that stipulation where we just talking about the seed and have no child.
Uh-huh.
Because now you got a child of a stranger, you still connected to that family.
You got it right. Go ahead.
But there shall no stranger eat thereof. And if a man eat of the holy thing unwittingly, then he shall put the fifth part thereof onto it, and shall give it unto the priest with the holy thing.
Uh-huh.
And they shall not profane the holy things of the children of Israel, which they offer unto Yahweh, or suffer them to bear the lawlessness of trespass when they eat their holy things. For I, Yahweh, do sanctify them.
For I, Yahweh, do sanctify them. You know, sometimes, man, you don't really know what Yahweh is doing or how he's doing, you know, something. And sometimes things change, you know, and you have to move with the change. He doesn't, you know, give you all of these, you know, precursors to what's going to happen. Sometimes he causes a situation to happen and you have to react. You know, I you know, praise Yahweh that on this has been a wonderful Holy Week. All right, and for more ways than one. During first fruit, our offer about a property was accepted, and today, the last day of Unleavened begins the first day of our contract in trying to getting that taken care of. Now we still got work to do, because we got to still do some building, we got to do some fixing, we got to do some expanding, we got some work to do. So understand, this is phase one, but it looked like we clearing the first hurdle, but we still got some more hurdles to go, because we got to put some things in place. And understand, you don't get to just do something for Yahweh. Yahweh picks and allows you to build his house. Consider ourselves blessed, because although Dawid had a desire, Yahweh said you can't do it. So consider ourselves blessed that he has allowed for us to do something. So understand, that's phase 1. But phase 2, we still got to get materials. We still got to get all of these things. So I praise Yahweh for each and every donation that has come in. And Yah's will, we are on our way to making these things happen. That's all that we're going to do for tonight. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.